Hi guys, welcome or welcome back. Today we are doing a complete deep dive into my Notion setup. Notion is like the hub for so many things that I do, and it has been a slow and steady process of really getting to understand how Notion works, how I want to use Notion personally, what things I like to include in my Notion, and what things I like to use a physical planner for, which we're also going to talk about a little bit in this video, how I use my physical planner, because last year I had a lot more spreads, I had a lot more pages, and if I'm being so for real, most of them did not get used regularly. So this year, my goal was to really pare back my Notion to the things that give me the most value, and I'm going to show you guys what that has been looking like. Of course, I've converted my Notion spreads into a template, so if you guys like my spreads and want to download the template, it will be linked down in the description, completely free, of course, and I hope that you guys enjoy it and get some value from it. I always get requests on my Notion related videos to provide templates, so we do have a cup of tea as well, of course. It's steaming hot though. So this is my new 2024 dashboard. Now, for comparison's sake, let's take a look at what my 2023 dashboard looked like. So as you can see, there was a lot more pages going on here. There were several pages where you had to click in and then go to a second page. For example, YouTube. I don't know why I did this. I don't know why I had just a page with two other pages. This is something that I've changed about my 2024 setup. I had a page for work, which I have decided to actually do away with. I had this master to-do list page, which I was trying to make happen, but it just overwhelmed me, the thought of having a master to-do list. I had a ton of planning pages for daily, weekly, and monthly planning, yearly pages, etc. So there was a lot going on the 2023 dashboard. 2024 dashboard is very pared down, and it's really just the pages that I need or that I feel like I use regularly. So first off, let's talk about the aesthetic of this page. So I'm obsessed, first of all. I love this butterfly that I found and this banner that I created. All of these banners, of course, will be included in the template if you guys like them as well. But essentially, I wanted to create sort of mini vision boards for different categories and use them as my Notion banners. So I just created these in Canva. I think it's perfect. It's just like calming, motivating. I love the little quotes. So it says like, everything in time, you will surely succeed, try one more time, do more of your favorite things. It's just so wholesome, encouraging, sweet. I'm obsessed. And then I am using the mono text for my dashboard now. I really love the look of the mono text. I think it's so cute. That being said, I have noticed that on certain pages where there's a lot of text or a lot of just like numbers or information, I don't like using the mono just because it's kind of hard to read. So you'll see in some of my pages, I still am using the serif text. Okay, so let's talk about these categories. So we have YouTube, writing, planning, finances, and lifestyle. And as you can see, there's really only like 1 or 2 pages per category. It's very minimal. Let's go ahead and start on the left-hand side. So with the YouTube pages. So obviously I have this YouTube channel as well as my second channel, Brielle Writes. So content planning and planning for my YouTube is one of the main things that I honestly use Notion for. I love using Notion for content planning and tracking my analytics. And so these are some of my most used pages, probably my most used pages in Notion, things that I'm looking at several times per month. These content pages are the things that have changed the least since my previous Notion setup. I really liked the system that I've had going, so I felt no need to change it. Okay, so let's start with the content planning page. So again, I created one of these new banners, which I'm obsessed. It says consume less and create more. If you were meant to be there, you wouldn't be here. I love that quote. I think that's so important. The core of this page is a basically content tracking database for content planning. I haven't been planning as ahead recently, but typically I would have like 3 months and have more future videos on here. Right now, I really just have videos I've already posted or I'm already working on, but I have it broken down into my 2 channels. So I basically have a filter on here. So only things that are marked with my Brielle Juliet channel will show on this tab, and only things marked with my Brielle Writes channel will show on this tab. So this is really nice. It lets me look at my 2 channels separately and not get overwhelmed by all the content that's going on. And as you can see, I break it down by month per column. I can set things like the playlist of the video. So for example, this How Much YouTube Paid Me video would go into my YouTube Journey playlist. I can customize the status of the video. So has it been scripted, filmed, edited, scheduled, or published? And then of course I can specify the channel. Same thing for the Brielle Writes content. So that's my content planning database. And then down below we have a few toggles. So first off, we have the ideas toggle. This is where I keep every single idea I've thought of. A lot of this honestly needs to be cleared out because I'm no longer resonating with some of these ideas. And I do think eventually I'll add 2 separate views for ideas for Brielle Writes versus my main channel. But honestly, I haven't had any issue coming up with ideas for Brielle Writes. So, but as you can see, I can put the ideas here. I can put a tag for what playlist it would be in so I can get a clear idea of what playlists I'm having ideas for. And then if I click on the actual thing, sometimes I will have notes. Wow, I have a lot of notes for this. I should really create this video. Maybe I'll put that in my content calendar soon. But yeah, sometimes I'll have notes. Sometimes I'll include things like keyword scores. For example, this video literally had a 100 score, which is like unheard of. If you don't know what I mean by keyword score, this is something that I figure out using TubeBuddy, which is an app that helps you find keywords for your YouTube videos. And basically, the higher the score of the keyword, the better of a keyword it is to target. Then I also have this playlist and series toggle, which honestly I might get rid of soon because it just like no longer feels very helpful. But basically here I would put my different playlists. And then of course I have an archive because I do keep my past years of content. And then down at the bottom, I have this calendar so that I can see what videos I'm uploading and when. I have it display the channel as well so I can see how frequently I'm uploading to each of my channels. December, you can see here all of the videos that I uploaded. So that is my content planning page. And then if we go back to the main dashboard, I also have an analytics tracker. In my analytics tracker, I again have it broken down by channel. This is something that I showed in my latest monthly reset. I swear by this system and I love getting to track this every month. So basically I have this just like chart database here that I use to track my analytics every single month. Now for this, I don't break it down by year because I like being able to compare past years to current years. So I like being able to look at, for example, January 2023 versus January 2024. So if we sort it by January, as you see here, we can compare, okay, January 2023, January 2024. And I really like this because sometimes if it feels like you're not making progress, doing something like this where you clearly see, okay, I have way more subscribers, I'm gaining more subscribers, I get more views, I'm earning more from AdSense. It can just be a little bit encouraging when you just need that little bit of perspective. So I basically use this to track things like my views, the subscribers I gained, my total subscribers, my AdSense earnings, which is how much YouTube actually pays me from Google AdSense, whether I hit the payout threshold that month, affiliate earnings, Ko-fi earnings, and of course the month tag. So I love this. It goes super in depth and it's a great way for me to track all my stats month to month. And this is honestly just the cherry on top of my months, being able to put all of these analytics in here and just take a moment to appreciate how that month went with YouTube, what I accomplished, do I want to change my strategy the next month. And then I of course also have a little chart for Brielle Writes. This is a lot more simplistic because Brielle Writes isn't monetized yet, so I'm just tracking things like my views, my subscribers gained, my total subscribers, which I also have these little charts, which I love using in Notion so much. Essentially, it's just like this little circle that's tracking how close you are to a larger goal. So in this case, I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers because I want to get monetized, obviously. And then I have the same thing for watch hours because I'm trying to reach 4,000 watch hours to get monetized as well. This is no longer something I track for my main channel just because I don't really care about watch hours, but it is one of the monetization requirements, so I have to care about it for my second channel. So that's my analytics trackers. I don't know why I'm talking so fast. I'm like parched. Let's have some more tea. So that's my YouTube section. And like I said, that's probably the section of my Notion that gets utilized the most and the section that I feel like I've kind of cracked the code on the most. Like it really works for me. There's some little things that I might want to spruce up over time, but for the most part, I didn't really touch those pages that much besides some slight aesthetic upgrades because they were already working for me. This is where we get into some of the new things that have been added. Starting with my 2024 writing plans. Spread. Now this is a spread that I actually created in a video on my Brielle Writes channel to track my writing progress throughout the year. Now, obviously this is pretty niche, but if you're not currently writing a book, I feel like you could use this spread for any goal or hobby where you want to track monthly progress and monthly goals. So basically the way this works is it is a database which is broken down into quarters. And then with each quarter, there's a page where I essentially have my goals for each month. I really like this system. It feels very streamlined. It lets me look at the whole year pretty succinctly and gives me kind of a roadmap throughout the year that I can easily view from this exterior view. I could totally see myself using this for future goals or just tasks I want to do. For example, when I eventually want to start something like a Patreon or a podcast, breaking it down into that month by month smaller goals I think could be really valuable. Okay, now we get into my 2024 home base page, which you guys saw if you saw my yearly resets. I did throw my vision board in here now, which I don't think it was in here for those yearly resets. spreads. But this is what I used to set my yearly goals this year. It's a very elaborate sort of spread. It's actually rather simple. It just looks crazy because there's a lot of words going on here. This is kind of what I was saying with the mono text. When there's a lot of words, it can feel a bit overwhelming. Like if we were to convert this to the default text, like look at how much simpler that is. But I do like the aesthetic of the mono text, so we're gonna keep it for now. So if you want to hear more about the spread, definitely go check out those yearly reset videos. But essentially, I have it broken down into a guiding word, some reflections and long-term goals. I have my starting point, including my YouTube stats, as well as my average monthly income. Then I have my yearly goals broken down into different categories, and I have little emojis assigned to each category, which I think is just so cute. As you can probably tell from my overall Notion upgrades, I was really going for more of like a cozy, warm, lots of pictures, a little bit more of a indulgent, fun aesthetic style, as opposed to the extreme simplicity that I had in my Notion spread last time I shared a Notion tour. I still want all of my pages to be super useful and not have unnecessary pages or databases, but I'm okay with prettying up the pages that I do have and the functional bits with pretty pictures and things like that now, which I honestly feel like, what a better way to live, honestly, just making things pretty. Not everything has to be like super plain and simple and streamlined, you know? Then I have the year in quarters, which is essentially a quarterly breakdown, sort of similar to what I had on my writing page, but this actually has a page per month where I can set my goals. January is a bad example. Let's go into February. So I just started using this in my last monthly reset, but essentially I created this monthly spread that I'm absolutely obsessed with. Why aren't the images showing up? There it is. Okay. So the way that I do my monthly spreads is I have a section for last month's highlights where I'll list some of the things that happened last month that made me happy or was like a highlight for one reason or another. I'll do a monthly journal entry, which I still need to do for February. But essentially the goal with that is to just have like a complete overview of how I'm doing in that moment to look back on throughout the year and really understand where I was at, because something I just want to focus on doing more is more reflection and more in the moment, taking stock of what my life looks like, because the entries that I do have from a few years ago, like little journal entries of where I was at, how I was feeling, what my life looked like. Looking back on them is always just so mind-blowing, and it always brings me into this mindset of like gratitude and seeing how far I've come, how much I've grown, how much happier I am. And I want to focus on that more, of just having these little glimpses into my past life, even if it isn't to see how much I've changed or grown, just to see, wow, look how different my life looked like a few years ago. Look at what my biggest problems were and what my daily routine was. So I want little encapsulations of that, and I think these monthly journal entries in Notion would be a great place to do that. It's also nice to have it virtually. I mean, of course, there's still a chance that I'll lose it or I'll stop using Notion, but compared to having to hold on to a ton of physical journals, there is something nice about that. So, and then I have 1 or 2 goals per category broken down in the same way that my yearly goals are broken down, as well as some fun little pictures, of course. So this is how I'll approach every single month in this quarterly breakdown section. So that is the YouTube, writing, and planning sections of my dashboard. Then we have my finances and lifestyle sections. Now my income streams tracker is pretty similar to how it was last year, but there has been one big change, which is that instead of just having one chart for my 2024 income streams, I now have 2 charts, one for my actual earnings and one for my revenue. Now this is where having like a YouTube channel and various income streams can get a little complicated, because it's always so hard to know how to track these things. I feel like we need an example. Okay. Let's take YouTube AdSense, right? Let's say I earn $150 in January. I've never earned that much in a month, but let's say if I earned $150 in January, I'm not receiving that paycheck until February. If I earn $15 from Amazon Associates in February, there's like a 2-month delay before that actually gets paid out. So I might not see that money until April or May. So essentially the reason why I wanted to have 2 charts here was so that I can track what I'm actually earning in the month. So the revenue that I'm generating, and then I can also track what's hitting my bank account, AKA what money am I actually receiving from these income streams that month. I hope that makes sense. It's very complicated. But essentially I have this lovely little chart that breaks down each of my current income streams, the type of income stream. So is it active, passive, or hybrid? An active income stream basically means like I have to directly put in work to receive that money. You know, I'm getting paid per hour, I'm getting paid salary, but essentially my work is directly correlated with the money. Hybrid is like half active, half passive. So for example, with YouTube, I'm obviously actively creating videos. So that's me putting in work to make money, but then I'm also making money off of all my past videos, which is more so like passive income. And then a passive income stream would be something where it's like completely passive. I don't need to do work to get the money. I have affiliates and Ko-fi called passive, even though obviously I have to set up the Ko-fi page and talk about it on my channel. And I need to like set up the affiliate links and include them in my description. But for the most part, when people actually donate to my Ko-fi or use my affiliate links, that's money that I'm getting without me having to do something directly for it. And then I also have status. So this is for whether the income stream is making money, inconsistent, or currently inactive. So the only two income streams that are consistently paying out month over month right now is my salary and my Poshmark. But then I have all these other income streams where I'm getting a payout like every few months or something. Okay, last but not least, we have this lifestyle section. And this is a completely new page that I added that I actually love so much. This is my new favorite page in my Notion. First of all, just look at it. Tell me this isn't the most stunning thing you've ever seen. This is very aligned with my whole new Notion aesthetic. We're using the mono text. We have fun little emojis. I love this banner I created. It might be my favorite one. It says pretty girls read books. True. But I'm like obsessed. I'm actually obsessed with this. I have A Court of Frost and Starlight, which is one of the ACOTAR, A Court of Thorns and Roses books. I have all of these like aesthetically pleasing images. It's just everything. It's everything. Basically, this page is pretty simple, but it's to track my reading this year. I was always kind of resistant to tracking my reading because I had this mentality of like, that's gonna take all the fun out of it, blah, blah, blah. But I've found that this very simple setup actually makes reading even more fun. Since I did set a reading goal this year to read 12 books, I thought it would be useful to have somewhere to track that, but also just to be able to take a look at, okay, what type of books did I read this year? What did I rate them? Like, how'd it go, you know? So the way I have it is I have this upper section for 2024 reads, which basically includes all of the books that I've already read or I'm currently reading. As you can see, I've read 2 books so far this year and I'm currently starting my 3rd book. I have a space for the status where I can basically say, did I read it or is it my current read? As well as a space for the star rating where I actually included these star options. I love it so much. It's so cute. I wish I could do like half stars, but I haven't really figured out the best way to do that yet. I might need to do some research on that. And then at the bottom, I have my TBR shelf, which if you don't know what TBR means, it's to be read. It's basically just a term that the book girlies use for everything that they want to read in the future. So I included some books here that I want to read this year and also included the ownership status. So do I have a physical copy or do I still need to buy a copy? Eventually, I probably will get a Kindle. So if I was going to read it on Kindle Unlimited, I could put that in the ownership column. But for now, I'm still just reading physical books. I haven't started reading ebooks or anything. So as you can see, I have quite a bit of physical copies waiting to be read. Oh, I also have Iron Flame, which I think is the sequel to Fourth Wing. So we should add that in here. So that is my Brielle's bookshelf page. And of course, that's also included in the template for you guys. And that wraps up my new Notion setup. Now, you'll notice that something pretty substantial is missing from this year's setup compared to last year's setup. And that is my weekly and daily planning pages. Last year, I had these spreads. My weekly spread where I was essentially planning out every week. As you can see here, I was scheduling out my weeks in this spread. I also had a daily planning page where I could plan on a daily basis. Now, essentially, I just realized that I actually didn't love virtual daily and weekly planning. I really like using Notion for more big picture things like goals or game plans for different aspects of my life, as you can see based on the pages that I have, versus the day-to-day planning. So what I've started using instead is physical planning. Now this is the physical planner that I have for this year. This was a gift from my mom for Christmas. So shout out to her. I'm obsessed. This is from Dela Studios. And in my mind, this is like everything I've always wanted in a physical planner, but honestly that I really struggled to find. What I really love about this is the very detailed daily page. So obviously this is a thick planner. It includes a time blocking section where you can put your entire daily schedule, a happy thoughts section, which I've been using for either like a little bit of motivation or if I want to list some things I'm grateful for, and then of course a good old-fashioned to-do list. And I just feel like this is perfect because I'm a big time blocking fan and it's hard to find honestly planners that include time blocking because most planners just don't get that granular. So I love that like every day I have a whole ass page. I just feel like physically planning my days, one is a little bit of romanticization because I can add add in colored highlighters if I want. I have washi tape I can throw in here, and it just makes it a little bit more romanticized. But also there's something very satisfying, of course, about paper, about being able to cross things out physically. It's so much more rewarding and satisfying than just checking a box on Notion and then just deleting the page. It just feels more satisfying when you're actually checking it off on paper. So I think I've definitely realized that on a weekly and daily level, I prefer physical planning. So this has been my best friend, and honestly, it's just such a nice little moment that I can take for myself in the mornings as well, especially before like a work day, where I can sit there with my planner when I'm still like half awake while I'm eating my breakfast or having my morning tea, and just put in all of my meetings and stuff into the time blocking section, make my to-do list for the day, make the day feel a little bit less daunting, and just kind of start my day in a way that's like soft and sweet and nice. So that's been my approach to planning this year, and that is my new system from top to bottom. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and taking a look at my new Notion setup. If you've not yet subscribed, I make all sorts of content around life in my 20s, productivity, personal development. If any of that interests you, which it probably does if you're watching this video, make sure to subscribe. If you do want to support my channel, I do have a Ko-fi page, which I will have linked down below, where you can buy me a virtual coffee. That's all for this video. I'll see you guys next time with another one, and if you want to get my template, it's linked in the description. Obviously, fully customizable. You can do whatever you want with it. Tear it up, remake it, take one page, take one section, go crazy. All right, bye.